Hello YouTube, my name's James, I'm here with Gareth, and today we're here to talk to you about MWC and what phones we expect to see while we're there.
Yep, the show's coming up in Barcelona very soon, and we're going to be seeing some pretty big things, some pretty big names.
So the big name this year is going to be Samsung, where we expect Samsung Galaxy S7 and the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. What do we know about those phones so far, Gareth?
Well, we don't know much because obviously it's all rumour and speculation, but we got a pretty good idea. So the Samsung Galaxy S7 will be a 5.1-inch display with the same resolution as last year. Galaxy S7 Edge will be the same curved display but with a 5.5-inch screen, which is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, so that's going to be midway between the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus that we saw last year and the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge.
And to make it even more confusing, we're probably going to see the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge Plus, which might not come to every territory, which will be even funner. But there are a few different things that are going to make Samsung stand out a little bit this year. Camera is going to be a big one, I think. This
Yeah, definitely.
12 megapixel sensor rather than 16 megapixels, which will be pretty good for low light and nighttime shooting. And I think battery as well has to be better. It really, really has to be better because otherwise Samsung's going to struggle, because we loved the phones last year and they worked really, really well, but day to day, battery wasn't great.
And we think we're going to hear some stuff about Samsung Pay in Europe as well. And we're also expecting some more Gear VR kind of stuff. It may just be a new headset for the actual S7 and the S7 Edge.
Which in itself would be really, really good. I think, Samsung's going to have some 360 rigs as well. It's going to go big on VR, which, last year it was cool. Gear VR is pretty sweet, but it needs to be a little bit better and more palatable for the consumer. Of course, one of the great things about MWC is whatever Samsung does, LG does as well. But this time, LG's going to be before because its press conference is first on the Sunday. So we know it's going to be the LG G5 because LG just tells everyone everything before it launches it. So the LG G5 has been plastered all over Facebook, the internet. There's no secret here, is there?
No, LG has also said on Facebook that it's going to have an always-on display, and they've
Always
shared a little picture as well, showing us the clock and notifications and that kind of stuff that you're going to get. So you don't have to turn the main phone display on, draining the battery. You're still going to be able to see the time and that kind of thing without having to press the button.
It is more exciting than James is telling us. So it's one of those things that's going to be talked about separately because it's a display that doesn't turn off. That's what always on really means. And I think that's going to be a real game changer for LG because it's going to be something that no one else is doing. Although we've seen Samsung patent the same stuff, so it'd be amazing if later in the day the S7 did the same thing.
And design is going to be a big part of LG as well. LG G4 had a really off design with the leather back and that kind of stuff, so we're really hoping this year that LG go with the full metal design.
The leather I won't say it made sense because it was different. It wasn't just another black rectangle, but it was leather, and it was really stretchy leather, and it wasn't even on every single phone. Some were plastic. And if you held something like the iPhone 6s and the Galaxy S7, not all phones should be metal, that's true, but LG needs to do something that's at least a bit more premium. That's definitely got to happen this year.
So we also know that Sony will be there at MWC this year. What they're actually going to bring with them, we don't know yet, do we?
But it's very unlikely to be a phone because Sony said it's not going to do 2 phones a year anymore, which is probably a good thing because they were getting a little bit ridiculous. So the Z6 is out, but you don't have a press conference at MWC and not do something mobile-y. So I'd say pretty certain we're going to see a tablet, the Z6 tablet Z6, whatever, and probably even a smartwatch because we had the Smartwatch 3 18 months ago, and really it's time for a refresh. Yeah,
it's been a while since the Smartwatch 3, so we would expect to see another wearable, or with tablets it could even be a compact tablet because we haven't seen a compact tablet from Sony for quite a while.
True, exactly, and we don't know what's happening with the tablet market anyway because it seems everyone's pulling out or doing great new things at the same time. It's one of those really kind of turbulent areas we're not sure about, but I think the smartwatch especially could be a big talking point because with the Smartwatch 3 it was based on Android Wear. It was Sony's first Android Wear watch, and it had some really great features. It was the first GPS in a smartwatch, also an Android Wear smartwatch. It had a rubberized frame. It was more rugged. It didn't do a lot of the things other smartwatches did, but it was different and it was cheap, and I'd like to see that in the Smartwatch 4, but just even better. Just more things, more features, longer battery life. It's a dream, but we can always dream. That's the benefit of living in the MWC world. I think one of the brands we're not going to see a huge amount from is HTC because although we haven't been confirmed, we haven't seen anything for a press conference. We are pretty sure there's going to be a March launch for the M10, which we'll see even later in the year. So that's probably just to kind of separate from the noise, or it's not ready yet. There's something around that HTC doesn't want to be part of the story of MWC, but I think there will be some stuff there, but not the main things.
So for a long time we've heard about HTC Wearable. Maybe that's something we might see at MWC. Or there might be some more Vive stuff. But apart from that, we don't really know what it's going to be.
I love the Vive. I think it's a great headset, but I don't want to see any more of that. We saw it at MWC last year, we saw it at CES this year. Let's have a new story, and I think a wearable makes a lot of sense. HTC's been absent from the wearable game because it says we couldn't make anything that was worth making. So if it does turn up, it'll be something really different, really innovative. Fingers crossed anyway. And at least we know it'll probably be designed quite nicely.
But in terms of phones, we may also see something on the HTC Desire range.
Yeah.
So they're mid-ranger kind of handsets. It's not really something they're going to make a big song and dance about, but it may be something that we see on one of the stands.
Yeah. So in terms of best of the rest, I think the key things we're going to see are Project Tango. We're seeing loads of brands getting involved with that. 2 cameras that can really spatially work out the room, which I think is a really exciting technology. Awesome. There will definitely be some wearable stuff, some stuff we can't even think of right now because there's always some crazy ideas turning up. And stuff we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some
which admittedly is all of MWC, I just realised that, but stuff we haven't thought we're going to see.
Yeah. So most of the stuff from the Chinese manufacturers will probably be quite exciting. We know Huawei has a press conference, but we don't know what we're going to see from that yet. And a couple of the other Chinese manufacturers may do something exciting as well.
Yeah, I mean Huawei's a crazy one because it's just done the Mate 8. It's done loads of really great phones recently. So I mean, there's probably something big there, but Huawei just can't be part of MWC and not be part of the big story. So the next time you see us, we're going to be live from the show floor in Barcelona, looking at all the crazy stuff that appears, whether that's a smartwatch that knows exactly what's inside your fridge, a phone that can control your car. It's all going to be there, and we're going to be there looking at it and telling you about it when it happens.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in Barcelona.